Okay. This is on solving system of equations from context. So these questions are pretty tricky. Probably more of a grade 10 concept, but if you can get these, then that's awesome. All right, so we need to do a little bit of work before we can graph the situation. All right, so we got a basketball player. In a particular game, she made a few, some free throws and some 2-point shots. So these were worth 1 point, and the 2-point shots are worth 2 points. And she scored a total of 12 points. Now, down a little further, we can see that X represents the number of free throws and Y is the number of 2-point shots. So what we want to do is we want to make two equations and then we want to graph them. So the first equation I'm going to make has to do with the total of 12 points. So I'm just going to use OneNote here. If I made some free throws, they're worth 1 point. So I can just say 1x, or you can just say x because that's the same thing, plus 2 times y. So I know y are my 2-point shots. So I get 2 points per shot. So y stands for the number of 2-point shots. X stands for the number of free throws. I know I want that to equal 12 points altogether. So maybe she took like 6 2-point shots and 0 free throws. Or whatever. I don't know. 5 2-point shots, which would make 10 points. And the rest of them, so 2 free throws. So that's the first equation. We're just making an equation from the information they gave us. Then the other info they give us is that she made twice as many free throws as 2-point shots. Okay, so X doesn't equal Y, because then that would mean that they made the same amount of shots. We would need to say, which one did she make twice? Twice as many free throws. Okay, so 2 times Y would equal X, because think about it like this. If I made 4 2-point shots, according to my equation, then X would equal 2 times 4, which would be 8. So that means if I made 4 2-point shots, 4 times 2 is 8. That means I made 8 free throws. 8 and 4, 8 is twice as big as 4. So that's what this equation does. It tells you she's making twice as many free throws as 2-point shots. Okay, so these are our two equations to represent Stella's basketball shots. Now we need to graph them in whatever way you can. So let's say you're going to put them into y-intercept form. That's my go-to. So I just want to isolate y. So I'm going to say 2y equals, oops, sorry, I'm writing with a mouse, negative x plus 12. And then I'm going to divide everything by 2. So now I have y equals negative a half x plus 6. So now I want to graph that line. So I got a 6 as my y-intercept and my slope is negative a half. So 6 is my y-intercept and then I'm going down 1 over 2. So that's my first line. Okay, and then for this one, if I want to put it in y-intercept form, I'm just going to divide both sides by 2. So I'll have x over 2, or 1/2 x equals y. So I know I have a slope of a half, and my y-intercept is 0. So let's graph that. Y-intercept of 0, and my slope is a half, so rise of 1, run of 2. And then I'm just going to see where these lines intersect. So they intersect at 6 for my free throws, because that's the x, and y is going to be 3 2-point shots. And let's see if we got it. Yes, I'm sure. Yeah, we got it right. And it just walks you through it. That's pretty tricky. They're pretty tricky questions, though. Let's try one more in case you want another question. Okay. Adam is going to a carnival that has games and rides. Each game costs $1.50. Each ride costs $3. Adam spends $15 altogether. So right away, I got some info. So I just want to see what X and Y. So the number of games is X and the number of rides is Y. Okay, so right away I'm going to make an equation for that. I just forget all the information. Okay, each game costs $1.50. I'm just gonna, if I have a pen, I'm just gonna write this down as I do it. So $1.50 x plus 3y is going to be equal to $15. Okay, so $1.50 x plus $3 per whatever y stands for, ride, I think, equals $15. So I got $1.50 times the number of games plus $3 times the number of rides is going to be equal to $15. And the number of games he played is 3 times the number of rides he went on. Okay, so wait, I gotta say that again. The number of games is 3 times the number of rides. Okay, games is 3 times the number of rides. I sometimes have trouble with that. Okay, so I always like to start with x equals y. That would be the same, but they're not the same because he went on 3 times as many rides. Just double checking. The number of the number of games he played is 3 times the number of rides he went on. The number of games is 3 times the number of rides. So I'd write that like that. So then I know if the number of rides was like 2, 3 times 2 is 6. So then he played 6 games and went on 2 rides. Let's just make sure. Games is more. Yeah. Okay, cool. So those are my 2 equations. So just like the last question, I would want to isolate y so that I can graph it easier. So this one would become y equals, I'm going to move that to the other side. So negative 1.5 x plus 15. I forgot my 3. Sorry, 3y. And then I have to divide everything by 3. Now 1.5, I mean, that doesn't look amazing to graph. I don't really know if you can graph, like go up a half. No, you cannot. So I think I would change 1.5 into a fraction before I started this. So I think I might go 3y equals negative, I know 1.5 is just 3 over 2, x plus 15. Sorry, it's hard writing with the mouse. Now I'm going to divide everything by 3. So y is equal to negative 3 over 2 divided by 3 is just going to be negative 3 over 6 plus 15 divided by 3 is going to be 5. And then I know that that's just going to be a half, negative a half, x plus 5. So if I graph that, I know I have a y-intercept of 5, and my slope is negative a half. Pretty similar to the other one. 5, and then my slope is that. And then my other one, if I want to isolate y, I'm just going to say y is equal to x over 3, which is like I have a slope of 1 over 3, and I have a y-intercept of 0. So 0, and then I'm going up 1 over 3. So Adam played, x is the number of games, so it looks like he played 6 games and went on 2 rides. Yes, I feel good. Okay, yeah, we got it right. So these are tricky. Like they're just, the trickiest part is coming up with the equations. So here you've got another one. So like this one's grams of sugar and bottles of juice. Yeah, like they're all kind of the same. You're just trying to make 2 equations and then graph them. I mean, this is way harder than what will be on the test. So if you want to skip this altogether, that's totally fine. This is really what you'll be doing in grade 10 math. And then you'll learn how to solve this algebraically as well as graphically. Okay, sorry about the tricky questions.